Our selection today is Marching to Zion.
The oracles of the UCI, 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us. Part of having the oracles is so that the children of Israel will understand how to come near holy things. You know, we pray and we ask for Yahweh to do all of these things. But the question is, are we prepared for the visitation of Yahweh? And that's the thing that we don't consider. The very thing that we ask for, if that thing is given unto us and we are not ready to deal with that, we could be bringing destruction upon ourselves just on the appearance of Yahweh. When it came time for the children of Israel to stand before this mount and receive these instructions, they had to prepare themselves. They had to sanctify themselves against the third day, go and wash their clothes, so that when they presented themselves before Yahweh, the Spirit of Yahweh would not devour them. And that's something that we have to consider. There are people that got, when you start mentioning certain rules and regulations, and they are not accustomed to any of that. We've had several people get to the front door and start arguing because they say, you know, hey, I've been able to come however I wanted to in all of the places that I've gone before here. So how would I get here? And then you're mentioning things unto me. It's those very things that Yahweh gave the children of Israel this law while giving them this land, so that they understood going into this land that there were ways to keep yourself from dying amongst the Holy Spirit of Israel. He didn't give them that law while they were still captives in Egypt. They would not have been able to keep the law, and it was nothing holy in Egypt. So they didn't need that situation there. He had not given them understanding of that. But once he gives us understanding of something, that is when the first level of our being held accountable begins. This is why some people would like to stay or pretend to be ignorant, because they believe that judgment will not come unto them. But there are expected levels of understanding at certain age groups. See, when you're 2 years old, there's only an expected level of understanding. When you get 5 years old, that level of understanding is supposed to change. So you can, act ignorant or pretend that anytime when somebody gets ready to speak to you that you don't want to hear it, you have still a problem. You have now entered the level where understanding should be at a certain point. This is why they have like various tests in school and things of that nature. By 5 years old, you should know how to do this. By 8 years old, you should know how to do that. By 12 years old, you should know how to do this, this, and this. Well, it's no different with Yahweh. We can pretend as if we don't want to hear. And this is what a lot of people, when you're talking to them about the word, this is why some of them just want you to stop. No, don't. I don't want to hear that. Why don't you want to hear? They believe that not hearing is going to make them unaccountable. The problem is you've been on the earth and you got a book. You have everything needed for accountability. But Yahweh will still go that extra step and send somebody to speak to them, even though they try to go around that. Now, today's sermon is entitled The Ages and Levels of Honor. With all the great armies that have been brought upon our people because of our many transgressions against our Elohim, we often overlook the fact that the biggest divide in our kingdom came from bad information and unwise counsel. King Rehoboam was approached by the people of Israel. The king consulted with the aged men that served with his father and also with the friends he grew up with. He forsook the counsel of the aged men and was directed by his friends. This unwise counsel was of Yahweh, and the children of Israel have been forever divided since that day. And I don't think we often understand what Yahweh used. With all of the great armies on the earth, he used unwise counsel to divide the children of Israel. We didn't get divided by an army. As powerful as we are as a people, we were divided by unwise counsel. A northern and a southern kingdom was forever there since that bad information. So all of the times that we are sitting here thinking about doing all of these things, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, all of these things, you have to consider something. The kingdom was divided because we took a hold of this bad information. And it's been that way since. Let's begin today's sermon in Numbers chapter 11, and we're going to read verses 1 through 16. You know, the earth and the fullness therein belongs to Yahweh, so he could have used anything to separate the children of Israel. It was interesting that that is the way that he chose to do it. So you may know what Yahweh is about to do, but you ain't never going to be able to figure out how he's going to do it. We can read and study all day long. You can sleep with this book on your head. You just go to sleep at night and just sit there and just try and try to soak it all in. Just soak it in. Just put it in your ear. Get your Bible software and play it all day, all night. Play it when you get in the bathroom, when you in the kitchen. Just word all day word. Still ain't gonna figure out what Yahweh about to do. Numbers 11, let's start that at verse 1.
And when the people complained, it displeased Yah. And Yah heard it, and his anger was kindled. And the fire of Yah burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. And the people cried unto Moshe. And when Moshe prayed unto Yah, the fire was quenched.
So, we don't understand the power of complaining. See, there's situations of complaining, and what are you complaining about And have you actually looked at all of the things that you have been given and why you might be in that situation? Because the first thing we do is when we get in the situation, that complaining part, we have not looked at anything that we have caused for that situation. We just go into the woe is me stage. We haven't looked at any of our dealings. Then the next part about that is we haven't looked at what may Yahweh be doing to build you up with this situation. See, we want out of the situation so bad and so fast. We have not considered you might actually grow in this situation. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And he called the name of the place Tabernacle, because the fire of Yah burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again, and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers, and the melons, and the leeks, and the onions, and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. And the manna was as coriander seed, and the color thereof as the color of bdellium. And the people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moshe heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the door of his tent. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled greatly. Moshe also was displeased. And Moshe said unto Yah, Wherefore have you afflicted your servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in your sight, that you laid the burden of all this people upon me? Have I conceived all this people? Have I begotten them, that you should say unto me, Carry them in your bosom, as a nursing father bears the sucking child, unto the land which you sweareth unto their fathers? When should I have flesh to give unto all this people? For they weep unto me, saying, Give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able to bear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me. And if you deal thus with me, kill me, I pray you, out of hand, if I have found favor in your sight, and let me not see my wretchedness.
See, as this weight is starting to be placed upon him, he is having some serious problems dealing with Israel. Because Israel is bringing all of their woes, they're bringing all of these things. We're talking many people complaining and going against everything that has been shown them because of what's happening at this particular time. All it takes is a few things and we forget all of the miracles that we've just seen. We forget walking through the water. We forget, that we just left a place where these people are supposed to be like man gods. All right, these people had chariots. They had all kind of armies. They had everything. We had a bunch of builders and farmers. We have forgotten all of that. First time we got hungry. Now we questioning whether or not Yahweh made a good decision or not. And we don't consider how disrespectful this is, because now we are now complaining to the king that he don't know what he's doing. See, we're not considering how disrespectful it is at this point. All we're thinking about is what we want and what we don't have. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you knoweth to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with you.
All right, brother, read this definition of elders, because after that we need to go into some things so that we can have a full definition of this whole concept of what an elder is and what this is about. Go ahead.
Elders from H2205, Zakein. from H2204. Old, aged, ancient, ancient man, elder, eldest, old man, old men, and old women, senator.
Right. So then as we deal with this, we have elders of the men, we have elders of the women, and there is certain levels of honor and respect that is automatically due there. Now, how those things are being dealt with that individual and what position they hold then also impacts that level of honor as well. Let's go to Numbers chapter 1.
Numbers chapter 1 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take you the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel. You and Aaron shall number them by their armies. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. And these are the names of the men that shall stand with you. Of the tribe of Reuben, Elizur, the son of Shedor. Of Simeon, Shelumiel, the son of Zurishaddai. Of Yehuda, Nashon, the son of Amminadab. Of Issachar, Nathaniel, the son of Zuar. Of Zebulun, Eliab, the son of Helon. Of the children of Joseph, of Ephraim, Elishama, the son of Ammihud. Manasseh, Gamaliel, the son of Pedazor. Of Benjamin, Abidan, the son of Gideoni. Of Dan, Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai. Of Asher, Pagiel, the son of Akran. Of Gad, Elisaph, the son of Duel. Of Naphtali, Ahira, the son of Enan. These were the renown of the congregation, princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands in Israel.
Okay, heads of thousands of Israel. So then when we take this in verse 3, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel. Then we go back to verse 16, where it mentioned the heads of those tribes who were leading those things. So what you have here is order, because what our people have to understand is that there's an army that has to be directed, and we haven't dealt like that as a nation and kingdom of people in over 2,000 years. So then now you have these instructions. These instructions are given for a reason. To move 5 people is one thing. To move 500,000 people is something altogether different. And if you don't have some order within that, and if the people don't respect the order, you're going to have some problems. And what we are being trained for is for a bigger operation. But if you don't understand order on a small level, you are definitely going to be thoroughly confused and overwhelmed when authority on a much higher level is given. Don't think that, we do all of these things. We sing these songs about Yahshua. We do all of these things. Don't think you're just going to run up to Yahshua. I mean, when you was at the Christian church, were you able to just run up on the pastor like that? How many people you seen ran up to Eddie Long or Creflo Dollar? You know how many people in front of them? So don't think you just going to run up to Yahshua. There's an order that goes. Everything don't get brought to Yahshua. There's certain things, even as we get in this book, is there not a wise man among you that can judge between his brethren? What, he's supposed to deal with everything? Go ahead.
Verse 17. And Moshe and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their names, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls.
Right. So 20 years old mean you a private. You just got in. You the lowest rank in the army that is humanly possible. Some people say, oh man, I'm grown, I'm 20. You grown. You are grown enough to sit over there and take some orders. Congratulations. Congratulations. First order, sit down before you kill yourself. Don't hold that gun like that. Right. Let's go to Numbers chapter 4.
You know, my brother, even in the situation with Moshe, we see that even Moshe, with the job that he was given, at some point realized this is too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, an egotistical man, I got it, I can handle it. Okay, let's wait for the downfall then.
Ain't nothing like Israel to show you need some help, though. Ain't nothing like Israel. Yeah, you wonder how he even dealt with it that long. Because every time they, because Israel get mad, but we can mean mug like nobody's business. You know, it's got to be something to look at 20,000 people mean mugging. Because Yahweh has orchestrated you to do something, and they don't like it. Imagine 20, 30,000 people looking at you, and they all like, he the reason we ain't ate today. Yeah, if we get rid of him, we probably eat good. He's having to absorb all of this. Every time Yahweh gives him something to do that is not popular to them. You gotta wonder how was he able to even endure that for that amount of time? Because he's teaching, these people still have a captive mindset. See, these are the things that we are going through, and we don't even know it. See, the same mindset of those people coming out of Egypt, here we go, coming out of, hopefully, Yah's will, we are coming out of this daughter of Babylon that was built in the image and likeness of Egypt. But we was also raised up under the thought process of the slave masters. So we have that same captive mindset. How much of that are we going to allow to cause us to fight against Yahweh as he starts directing us in order? And how much of it is he going to take before he start removing us out of the way? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, even with that indignation and the mean mugging from the 20,000 people, how many of them are still carrying other stuff, such as those who believe you just made yourself a prince above us?
Mm-hmm.
How many are still carrying the baggage of he married to an Ethiopian woman?
Mm-hmm.
Along with the mean mugging of the current situation that he's the reason why we ain't ate today.
Mm-hmm. We carry it, whether or not we vocalize it. See, some are just bold enough to vocalize it. But here's the thing you have to look at. Some are bold enough to vocalize it, but sometimes that actually gives, depending on how they put that out there, you have an opportunity to actually work on that. Who's in a worse state? The ones who actually walk around with something in their heart and never utter anything. Then they're carrying it, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And they present a face, they present an image, but they are getting worse and worse inside. And they never, even present a situation where they can possibly get that situation rectified. But then if we do say something, the next question is, how are we going to put that out there? Because, when you're 5 years old, you are expected to put something out there as a 5-year-old. When you're 35, you are expected to present a question like a 35-year-old. See, a 5-year-old don't really care nothing about your feelings or anything of that nature. A 5-year-old will just come right there, be by you about half a second and say, good God, you stink. And that is, and they had no ill will. They were not harboring anything against you. They said the first thing that came in their mind. They meant absolutely no harm. And we'll still be mad at that 5-year-old, though. We'll still be a little angry. But that's a 5-year-old. Now, when a 35-year-old say the same thing, you got cause to feel some type of way. Because a 35-year-old person should have been able to articulate that discussion better than that. Go ahead.
Numbers chapter 4 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, Take the sum of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi, after their families, by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even until 50 years old, all that enter into the host to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation.
So there's certain words that you have to pay attention to. There are levels when you deal with this thing. All right. So you got 20 years old, you apt to go to war. Now, when you start dealing with things inside the priesthood, it is now 30 years old into these particular things. See, we're starting to deal with all that enter into the host to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. And then there are levels of work inside the congregation. Go ahead.
This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things.
All right. So now there are holy things, and then there are most holy things. Understand, there are levels. See, if we think, I can do anything that man over there can do, no, his family is supposed to deal with that thing. Your family is supposed to deal with that thing over there. Now, we catch your family over here, somebody might die. Go ahead.
And when the camp sets forward, Aaron shall come, and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil, and cover the ark of the testimony with it, and shall put thereon the covering of badger skins, and shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put in the staves thereof. And upon the table of the showbread they shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes, and the spoons, and the bowls, and the covers to cover withal, and the continual bread shall be thereon. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with a covering of badger skins, and shall put in the staves thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue, and cover the candlestick of the light, and his lamps, and his tongs, and his snuff dishes, and all the oil vessels thereof, wherewith they minister unto it. And they shall put it and all the vessels thereof within a covering of badger skins, and shall put it upon a bar. And upon the golden altar they shall spread a cloth of blue, and cover it with a covering of badger skins, and shall put to the staves thereof. And they shall take all the instruments of ministry, wherewith they minister in the sanctuary, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of badger skins, and shall put them on a bar. And they shall take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth thereon. And they shall put upon it all the vessels thereof, wherewith they minister about it, even the censers, the flesh hooks, and the shovels, and the basins, all the vessels of the altar. And they shall spread it a covering of badger skins, and put to the staves of it.
Right, so then you see all the order. This stuff has to be cleaned and placed in a certain way. Go ahead.
And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary, and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is to set forward, after that the sons of Kohath shall come to bear it. But they shall not touch any holy thing, lest they die. These things are the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation.
Now, this is where this kind of gets confusing, and you have to slow down a little bit. And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is to set forward, the camp is about to move as the Spirit moves. After that, the sons of Kohath shall come to bear it. After the sons of Kohath have set the things up, I was dealing with the sons of Aaron. But the sons of Aaron shall not touch any holy thing, lest they die. All right, so you have to slow down and read that, because it'll come off differently and a little bit confusing. These things are the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation. So you have these sons of Kohath who have the ability to touch all of the other things to get them together. The other people can come and move them after they put them up, wrap them over, then they can come and touch them. So you got the wrong person touching the wrong thing at the wrong time, and then we got to carry somebody out of here. And people don't understand why there are rules. What are you going to do when the Spirit of Yahweh walks among us and you don't know how to follow orders? You don't understand how to stay in the charge in which you were given. That's why the oracles say, I have, beware, I have sent an angel to lead you in the way, but don't you provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgression. We have to be prepared for that. Go ahead.
You know, even when you talk about the levels, and that's what they don't see. The sons of Aaron are a whole different level than the sons of Kohath.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do what we do. You can't touch the things we touch.
You can. You just gonna die. You can touch it. Go ahead. You bad. Go ahead.
Can I get somebody to get ready to carry them out here? They finna touch this. Yeah, okay, carry them right out of there.
That gonna take care of that. Won't nobody else touch it. That's gonna take care of that. Sometimes you gotta make an example out of Israel. See? Somebody gotta get carried out so everybody else can know,
don't touch that.
Yeah, you know, that's just us. Now, we saw it. We understand the rule. But until somebody get carted off, that's when we understand that we probably shouldn't touch it. Well, the rules had already told you not to touch it. But y'all know us. We habitual line crossers. Where the line at? Go ahead, bro.
Numbers chapter 4 and verse 16. And to the office of Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest pertaineth the oil for the light, and the sweet incense, and the daily meat offering, and the anointing oil, and the oversight of all the tabernacle, and of all that therein is, in the sanctuary, and in the vessels thereof. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, Cut you not off the tribe of the families of the Kohathites from among the Levites, but thus do unto them, that they may live and not die, when they approach unto the most holy things. Aaron and his sons shall go in, and appoint them every one to his service and to his burden. But they shall not go in to see when the holy things are covered, lest they die.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Take also the sum of the sons of Gershon.
All right, another son, and then other duties about to be given. Go ahead.
Throughout the houses of their fathers by their families. From 30 years old and upward until 50 years old shall you number them, all that enter in to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation.
All right, so then as we're dealing with these certain things, then they have to be within those age groups from 30 to 50. Go ahead.
This is the service of the families of the Gershonites, to serve and for burdens. And they shall bear the curtains of the tabernacle, and the tabernacle of the congregation, his covering, and the covering of the badger skins that is above upon it, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Right, so then the Gershonites have different duties than the Kohathites. Okay, but they all are sons of Levi, but they have different duties. Go ahead.
And the hangings of the court, and the hanging for the door of the gate of the court, which is by the tabernacle and by the altar round about, and their cords, and all the instruments of their service, and all that is made for them, so shall they serve.
Imagine if you have to understand that one work coincides with another work, which goes hand in hand with another work. Now, imagine if the sons of Gershon said, look, man, we ain't got time for all this, man. Why you doing all this rapping, man? We ain't got time. We just ready to go. So should they stop their work because you ready to do yours? That's not how an army or a family works. And if Israel ain't careful, we're going to get kicked out of both. Go ahead.
At the appointment of Aaron and his sons shall be all the service of the sons of the Gershonites, in all their burdens, and in all their service. And you shall appoint unto them in charge all their burdens. This is the service of the families of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of the congregation, and their charge shall be under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest.
All right, so even as there are families that have these things of the sons, then there's one in charge of the families. Go ahead.
As for the sons of Merari, you shall number them after their families by the house of their fathers. From 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, shall you number them, every one that enters into the service to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. And this is the charge of their burden, according to all their service in the tabernacle of the congregation, the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the pillars thereof, and the sockets thereof.
All of these duties differ from the other two families. You can't just show up and do anything because you feel like you might want to do it. Go ahead.
Verse 31.
All right, let's go to Numbers chapter 8. And that goes on and on, by the way. We're stopping there. But do understand the order continues about what these families are given as far as their duties, but then you find that in dealing with the most holy things is a totally different order. Numbers chapter 8, and let's start that at verse 18.
And I have taken the Levites for all the firstborn of the children of Israel, and have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel.
Right, because they have a job to do, I have given to them as a gift. Then they are to utilize the Levites to get all of this job done. At first, Yahweh said all the firstborn belong to me. Then he changed that, and this is why we have to stay off in his word, because things change. One minute, Yahweh said, don't come out your house on the Sabbath. Next minute, he said, go keep a holy convocation. Now, what happened if, somebody approached you on the street and they say, you see, he said, don't come outside of your tent on the Sabbath day. Then you got people scared to do anything because they dealing with the first part of that rule as he was getting Israel to learn order. So you have to be ready when the orders change. Go ahead.
To do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle of the congregation, and to make an atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel, when the children of Israel come near unto the sanctuary.
Check that out. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel to do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle of the congregation, and to make an atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come near unto the sanctuary. We really don't understand sometimes what we be doing. You come and deal with something wrong, and then a plague breaks out. This is the part that'll confuse people. You have an individual over here that does something wrong, but somebody start dying over there. See, as long as they don't die, it couldn't have been me. I mean, that's not how that works. And that's something that we have to think about. This is why you have to execute righteousness and judgment in the land, because it won't always be. Matter of fact, most of the time, it won't be the individual who did it. The death don't start with them. The death starts somewhere else. But this is what we use to justify that we have not done anything wrong, because we wasn't the one who died when the thing happened. But keep going. Death done wrote your name down.
I'm going to visit him after I kill. I'm going to kill these 1,000 first. But I'm coming to see you.
Right. They know who started it. Yahweh often lead that person among you to see if you gonna make righteous judgment. You have to think about it. This person did something. The word says, okay, righteous judgment must be executed. Something happens, the plague breaks out. But Yahweh don't kill the individual who started the mess. He laid that up to you. He want to see. Let's see if you got what it takes to take care of this business. But the plague done killed all these people over here. But Yahweh didn't let the plague touch the individual who brought that in. Interesting. Then we get up there and now we want to love everybody. We scared to do. I don't want to be bothered with judgment. What you think your job is? You bear the name, the holy name of Israel. Go ahead.
Because, in the situation, who was it? Phineas? The plague had started, and the people who caused it were still standing there. Phineas had to kill him.
You got it. You got it. They stand around there looking. That's what we do. What is going on around there, man? Them people dying down there. Man, move out the way. Brother got a javelin. Took care of that business. Then Yahweh gives him a covenant of forever service. Because he killed some people. Check that out. Check that out. But he killed the right people at the right time. Because the plague was going to keep killing off Israel. But Yahweh didn't let the plague kill the person who started the plague. He said, no. That's your job. That's why he let situations come upon us. Because he want to sit back and say, let's see who got what it takes. Hey, I know he'll do it. No. Make them two move out the way. Don't let them say nothing. Let's see who else gonna do it. So Yahweh let it happen. And give everybody an opportunity to execute righteous judgment. We better learn now. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And Moshe and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levites according unto all that Yahweh commanded Moshe concerning the Levites. So did the children of Israel unto them. And the Levites were purified, and they washed their clothes. And Aaron offered them as an offering before Yah.
This is why you say, and the Levites were purified, and they washed their clothes. This is where we get that term, cleanliness is next to godliness. When you're going to see Yahweh, act like you're going to see somebody. When you were going to see your little girlfriend, you washed them up under your arms. You at least made her think you washed normally. Sprayed on about 4 layers of that nasty Old Spice or whatever. Okay, you're going to see Yahweh. Act like you're going to see somebody. Because you are. Go ahead.
And Aaron made an atonement for them to cleanse them. And after that went the Levites in to do their service in the tabernacle of the congregation before Aaron and before his sons. And Yahweh had commanded Moshe concerning the Levites, so did they unto them. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, This is it that belongs unto the Levites. From 25 years old and upward, they shall go in to wait upon the service of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Now wait. So then we have then a different level of order when it comes down to holier things. To do some of these things, now we have the age of 25. We still have the situation of going to 50. So herein lies also that thing. You have a lot of situations where, you have those that don't like to acknowledge birthdays because of certain things. Hey, a difference in 5 years, yeah, I mean, we can tell the difference between a person that's 30 and a person that's 50. But a person that's 20 and 25? No. Somebody got to know something right now. Because you let the wrong person do the wrong thing. Not only that you got to deal with the difference between a person that's 20 and 25 and then a person that's 25 and 30. Oh. got somebody over here dealing with something and somebody walk in. Hey, man, that dude over there 29. What you talking about? We were born at the same time. That dude 29. And he come to play Yahweh. Go ahead.
And from the age of 50 years, they shall cease waiting upon the service thereof, and shall serve no more.
And if people don't think it's important, Yahshua didn't get his baptism until he was 30. It says that his body was the temple. He didn't begin working in his own temple until 30. And he had to get his baptism to be able to do that. And it wasn't but one man on earth that could baptize him, and that was Johannes. Everything was set in order for him to do that job. And it didn't matter. He could have got baptized at any time. We're talking about from the beginning, from the birth, they knew that he was different. 12 years old, he in the temple speaking to doctors and lawyers. They're like, man, this dude, man, the dude 12, bro. Hey, why he ain't no baptism then? Why he ain't do none of that? That wasn't even there. Johannes was baptizing people before he was doing that thing. Yahshua had a time. There was a specific time that had to be done. And once he got it, here comes the Spirit of Israel to come and dwell in that natural fleshly body, and boom, the job began. But there was order in that. Yeshua himself had to wait for the order. With all the great things about who he was and who he was crafted to be, he still had to wait and deal with that according to as it was written. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting that he had to wait, but yet you got these people out here appointing elders at 12.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? They said that eldership is an office. So you can just make them a elder just like you make them a usher.
So we got the ushers, we got the elders.
Wait a minute, your elder is younger than your usher. He's a elder usher? What is he? What? How is, that don't make no sense. Go ahead.
Which shall minister with their brethren in the tabernacle of the congregation to keep the charge, and shall do no service. Thus shall you do unto the Levites touching their charge.
So then they have this situation of retirement. They then have to work 25 to 50. After this point, they then are able to have their retirement. It says in verse 26, but shall minister with their brethren in the tabernacle of the congregation to keep the charge, and shall do no service. So they don't have to do all the laborious work. They are now able to advise and advise only. So you find people, you talking about here 25 years of service. All right. And now their job is to advise the people. You got people that been in 25 minutes and they ready to give some advice. It took 25 years before they can get ready to give advice. Folks been here 25 minutes, they still in the damn lobby.
You know what? If I was you.
Have you even been to a Sabbath class?
Well, I mean, not per se.
Right. But you offering advice. 25 minutes in the word. These people had to earn their right. Go ahead. Let's go to 1 Chronicles chapter 23. We ready to sit down on a post and advise, but we ain't did no service yet. There's something wrong with that. 1 Chronicles chapter 23, and let's start that at verse 24.
These were the sons of Levi after the house of their fathers, even the chief of the fathers, as they were counted by number of names by their polls, that did the work of the service of the house of Yah, from the age of 20 years and upward. For Dawid said, Yahweh Elohim of Israel has given rest unto his people, that they may dwell in Jerusalem forever.
Now see, when you get to reading this, you like, now wait a minute. Is he running the auction here? You got 20, 25, 30, 35, 35, 20, 25. Can I get 20? But hey man, why these numbers keep changing? But keep reading.
And
He says from 20 years old, right? Now keep going, go ahead.
And also unto the Levites, they shall no more carry the tabernacle, nor any vessels of it for the service thereof.
Okay, stop. Now the tabernacle does not have to move. The most holy things don't have to keep being stacked up. They don't need to be 30 years old anymore because they don't need to be handling that stuff. They got a permanent home now. Understand? This tabernacle had to keep moving. Do you know? Imagine what it would be like. You know, we telling them, you know, hey, y'all, we got to stop pulling these mic cables out of here because we getting feedback from pulling these cables on. Imagine we had to take this whole building down and move every time a cloud moves. All right, y'all. Oh, it's moving. All right, man, start pulling down the walls. The walls? We got to move the walls? All right, somebody, who job is it to gather up these chairs? Let's get all the candlestick, the altar. Let's get all of this stuff, and you cover it. You don't just move it. All this stuff got to be wrapped and covered so that it's not exposed as it's being moved. All that has to be moved every time the cloud and the fire move. So it had to be some order. So consider that. Order matters for the time and situation that it is needed. Now, King David said, we don't have to move anymore. We're not going to have to keep moving all of these things. So that's not needed. Go ahead.
You know, brother, when you put it that way of the constant moving, we don't understand how great it was to have specific people continuing to move this. Because you've had to go and work behind somebody before, right? After they start a job and they didn't finish it?
Yes, man.
Now you're wondering where this piece is at, where that part's at. But start to finish, if you got the same people doing it over and over, somebody can go, wait. One of the staves is missing.
Yep.
Instead of reaching the next place because another family took over.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, we supposed to have 25 staves. What you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you find out that quick when you let your friends borrow your tools. You get it back, you got 4 13s, no 14. Hey, brothers, hey, I have 4 13s. Okay, I have no reason to have 4 13 sockets. What I don't have, though, is a 14. But you know that individual who borrow your tools can't find that 14 nowhere. I purposely bought me a black steel set of tools because I didn't know anybody who had them. So when somebody lied about my socket, give me my socket, knuckle. I know that's the black one. Ain't nobody else got that socket right there. Give me my socket. Fit right here. And I got the kind that fit directly in the spot. Yeah. So I can open it up and say, my 15 missing. Who got my 15? They said, man, we done fixed the car. I'm telling you, ain't no car moving until we find my 15. You understand what I'm saying to you? You understand what I'm saying to you? But now, Sock, we got the car fixed. I will let the air out these tires if you don't find my 15. I ain't buying no more tool sets. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 27.
I'm sorry, I had to vent there for a second. That's a little personal moment. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Verse 27. But by the last words of Dawid, the Levites were numbered from 20 years old and above, because their office was to wait on the sons of Aaron for the service of the house of Yah, in the courts and in the chambers, and in the purifying of all holy things, and the work of the service of the house of Elohim, both for the showbread, and for the fine flour for meat offering, and for the unleavened cakes, and for that which is baked in the pan, and for that which is fried, and for all manner of measure and size, and to stand every morning to thank and praise Yah, and likewise at even, and to offer all burnt sacrifices unto Yahweh in the Shabbats, in the new moons, and on the set feasts, by number according to the order commanded unto them, continually before Yah.
Right. And we often get the same email about burning a fire on the Sabbath. And when we show them what it says in the word and what they were talking about, when we start showing all of these things about this bread is baked hot on the Sabbath day, we have offerings that are going on continually on the Sabbath day. We have the candlesticks which never go out. People still find another excuse to jump right off of that and jump on something else. Because that's just what they want to deal with. But if you want to eat cold food on the Sabbath, go right ahead. Just don't put that on everybody else. Go ahead.
And that they should keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the charge of the holy place, and the charge of the sons of Aaron their brethren, in the service of the house of Yah.
All right. Let's go to John chapter 8. Yohanan chapter 8. And we're going to read verses 48 through 59.
Yohanan chapter 8 and verse 48. Then answered the Yehudis and said unto him, Say we not well that you are a Samaritan and has a devil?
It's easy to pick out the devil part. Do you understand the other insult that's in there? The Samaritans have no dealings with the Jews. See, one thing you're going to find out about Israel, we know how to be nasty. Nice and nasty. See, you may hone in on the devil insult, but the other one will slide right past you. So you then basically telling me I don't have any authority to talk to you. Is what you got to understand what's happening here. All right, it's an insult on a different level, and we ain't done yet. Go ahead.
Yahshua answered, I have not a devil, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. And I seek not mine own glory. There is one that seeketh and judges. Verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. Then said the Yehudis unto him, Now we know that you have a devil. Abraham is dead, and the prophets, and you say, if a man keep my sayings, he shall never taste of death? Are you greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead? Who maketh you yourself?
You first of all see how Yahweh set up the world to be confused. You realize that at any point, Yahshua could have been a person that none of them had ever seen. Okay? That Yahweh brings about this man that then the spirit of Israel enters into this body. What Yahweh does in confusing the children of Israel is he lets the natural man be around for 30 years. Allows the man to get a baptism. Then has the spirit of Israel enter into his body. Now he is on a whole nother level. Now he's saying things and doing things that don't make sense to people. How you start talking about you do this and you do that? Man, this same dude that was in woodshop with her. Ain't that the dude that made the table? That's him, right? Well, where he getting all this from? Oh, Yahweh did that on purpose. He did it on purpose. Because to follow the lines of the spirit, it overrides the things of the flesh. So those things that you think you know, you find out that you don't know that at all. There are people that say, I swear I know this man. I know this man. There's no way he could know the stuff that he knows. Go ahead.
Yahshua answered, If I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honors me, of whom you say that he's your El. Yet you have not known him, but I know him. And if I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. But I know him, and keep his saying. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it, and was glad. Then said the Yehudis unto him, You are not yet 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham?
Okay, what happens at 50? What else? Retirement? What else? Counsel and ministering. So in other words, how you gonna give us instruction? You ain't 50, you ain't nobody to give us no instruction. You Samaritan devil, you. Right. Go ahead.
Yahshua said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. Then took they up stones to cast at him. But Yahshua hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by.
Now he knew when he said that he was going to take them off. See, this is one of those things where there's certain parts of the truth that can't do nothing but bring you trouble. Yahshua was not unaware that this truth was going to bring him trouble. He knew once he said those things. This is why he had to go ahead and use them other level of skills. Well, it ain't time for me to die. Let me go ahead and got time to disappear. Yeah, because they about to do something at this point right here. Because see, they can't comprehend that. So you can see the anger rising up because they do not understand those things. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13, and let's read verses 44 through 58.
Verse 44. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hidden in a field, the which when a man has found, he hides, and for joy thereof goes and sells all that he has, and buys that field.
Do we do that? Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hid in a field, that which when a man has found, he hides the treasure, and for joy goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Meaning that now his salvation is the most important thing unto him. All his possessions and everything has taken a back seat, because his salvation is at the top of the list. Do we look at our salvation like that? Or do we allow any old thing to come in and cause us to rearrange or renegotiate the price of our salvation, the worth of our salvation? Go ahead.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, whom, when he has found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind.
So, verse 46, who when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Once again, he realizes how precious this salvation is. And he would not allow anybody or anything to take him away from his salvation. Do we have that kind of mindset? And if not, we better find out how to get it. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting. In verse 45 at the end, it said he was seeking goodly pearls.
Mm-hmm.
And he found one pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And sold it all he had for the one pearl, even though he was looking for pearls.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world.
Right. You put the word out. we broadcast the word, it brings every kind. Some show up. Some show up to learn of the word, and others show up to be a part of a social club. When you cast that net out, you catch every kind. But then it's up to you to pick through and find out which things are supposed to stay and which things are supposed to go. Or do you get emotionally attached to the trash? You ever seen anybody emotionally attached to trash?
You know, I would throw this out, but these old milk cartons, ooh, I done got so used to them. I don't.
And people coming in your house. What is that smell in here?
Oh, I love these old milk cartons and eggs and the old biscuit remnants.
You ain't got to worry about many people keep coming over there. Go ahead, bro.
The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
In other words, the angels come and throw out the trash. The same things that we're supposed to do when we're dealing with situations. You have to separate between the good and the bad. And the bad gonna show you it's bad. And the good gonna show you it's good. Can a good tree bring forth bad fruit? Can a bad tree bring forth good fruit? Sit and watch the fruit. Don't get emotionally attached to the tree.
I just want to hug you, old tree. I love you.
Wait till the fruit come off that tree and see what kind of fruit it is. When you look up, now you done got emotionally attached to a tree. You look up and find,
You know, everything on this tree is rotten.
right. Now you've gotten attached to a tree that has rotten fruit. Yeah, sure, didn't get emotionally attached to it. Cut this thing down. Why cumbereth the ground? Give me one. Let me dung about it. Let me try to see if I can, do something with it. And if you don't find no fruit after that, then just go ahead and cut it down. I sure didn't get emotionally attached to the tree. It either produced or it didn't. Now, what kind of fruit did it produce? See, some people will just say, well, this was fruitful. How fruitful was it? And what spirit was the work done? That means there's something with that fruit. See, we have gone to a couple of those farms where you pick the oranges, the peaches, the strawberries. You go there, you find when you're getting ready to pick. See, we're accustomed to shopping at, Kroger, where they got the little plastic wrap over it. So you trying to look and see if it's any bad strawberries in there, But they're good because they put the bad ones in the middle. See, so you can't see. So around the edge, it's all the good ones. You're like, yeah, there's a good one here. You get home, as soon as you pop that plastic over there, you got that big, ugly brown strawberry coming right out the mouth. Man, they hit this one. Somebody was setting me up, putting these strawberries in here. Hey, when we went to the strawberry patch, what happened? We ain't picked those. There's some people, we went out there, we got our little buckets, right? You pay for your little bucket, and the whole thing is you fill up your bucket. You done already paid for a bucket. Now, are you going to take home a bucket full of rotten strawberries? You find some people, they went back there, boom, they picked their strawberries quick. There was other people that were picking strawberries like their life depended on it. What the hell are you doing? It's a strawberry. Oh, man, they were serious about every strawberry, and they dropped each one in the bucket. You playing like we ain't never going to leave here. Right. Go ahead.
Brother, there's also that accountability in the situation where he said, leave it alone. let me dung about it.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, he also said, if it don't produce, I'm gonna have to cut it down.
Yes.
And that's what we don't understand. You vouch for somebody when it's time to cut ties. Make sure you step up to say, okay, I beg for this person. I'll handle this situation.
Hey, the mafia do the same thing.
Hey, didn't you vouch for Vinny? Well, his debt has become your debt. Yeah.
What? No, I ain't mean that. I ain't mean it. Mm-mm. He owed 5,000. Now you owe 5,000. Then you vouch for him? Right. Be careful where you let your name be placed. Go ahead.
Verse 51. Yahshua says unto them, have you understood all these things? They say unto him, yes, Adonai. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bring forth out of his treasure things new and old.
Right. Here's the thing. Are you able to be instructed? Therefore, every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven. Can you be instructed? And if not, you're going to have some problems. There are too many levels in this walk. Yahshua is King of Kings. That means kings are going to be directed by Yahshua. He's not a king. He's a King of Kings. So other kings have to listen to this king. So just because you are a king does not mean that you are not going to have to be instructed. We're all going to have to be instructed. Unless you Yahshua. And he still takes direction from Yahweh. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that when Yahshua had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, Whence has this man this wisdom and these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son?
What I tell you?
Ain't that the dude that made the table?
They automatically got indignation. See? We want to see somebody float down the hall. We don't want to see no regular person say these things. Go ahead.
Is not his mother called Miriam, and his brethren, Jacob and Joses and Simeon and Yehudas?
You see how we do? We're going to mention your whole family. They didn't just go and say, it's not this the carpenter's son. They done threw his mama into it. They done mentioned his daddy, his brother. I mean, they going in. Talking about, hey, he got sisters. This is a regular dude, man. How he know this? Go ahead.
And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then has this man all these things?
Now you see the problem here, too. The Catholics have made Mary a forever virgin. Now somebody had these children. I don't know who these children is. Now, I don't know what the marital situation of yourself was, but I'm telling you, there's other children here. Now, I don't know how, anybody have these children and still be a perpetual virgin forever. There's something wrong with that situation. Go ahead.
And they were offended in him. But Yahshua said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house.
In his own country, in his own house, among his own people. Because they have gotten accustomed to you, and familiarity breeds contempt. The more familiar we get with something, the more contempt we have for it. Go ahead.
And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief.
Right. Their unbelief limited the works that he would do among them. Read that note that's there, bro.
Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 17. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief.
Okay.
For that is unprofitable for you.
It is unprofitable for you if they do that out of grief. You're going to suffer loss if they do that out of grief. And that's something that we just do not consider. Let's go to Numbers 11. We're going to go back to Numbers 11, and we're going to start back at verse 17. Numbers 11. And we start that at verse 17.
And I'll come down and talk with you there, and I'll take of the spirit which is upon you, and will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you bear it not yourself alone.
All right, so verse 16, and Yahweh said unto Moshe, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with you. And I will come down and talk with you there. And I will take of the spirit which is upon you, and will put it upon them. And they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you bear it not yourself alone. So the people were given the spirit for a specific reason. And that spirit came from Moshe. But it wasn't given to them so they can go out and do a bunch of natural things. They had a job that they were supposed to use this spirit for. But what we will do, take the gifts of the spirit and use them for our own natural things. Go ahead.
And say you unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and you shall eat flesh. For you have wept in the ears of Yah, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore Yahweh will give you flesh, and you shall eat. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month, until it comes out at your nostrils.
And you got to see that's eating meat for a whole month. For people who have not had meat, you know, we want to just get a little bit of meat, but Yahweh is gonna make sure you feel the actions, that we understand how foul what we are requesting of him is, because Yahweh's trying to cleanse the children of Israel, and we don't really see that at that point. We just see that we are asking for something that we're not getting. That's all we know. Go ahead.
And it be loathsome unto you, because that you have despised Yahweh which is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Egypt? And Moshe said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and you have said, I'll give them flesh that they may eat a whole month.
Now you see in verse 20, they have now questioned Yahweh. Why came we forth out of Egypt? See, Yahweh don't really know what he's doing. See, because we're not getting something we want, now we questioning the entire leadership that Yahweh has going on. Something can't be right here, because we should have thus and thus. Go ahead.
Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them, to suffice them? Or shall all the flesh of the sea be gathered together for them, to suffice them? And Yahweh said unto Moshe, is Yahweh's hand waxed short? You shall see now whether my word shall come to pass unto you or not. And Moshe went out and told the people the words of Yah, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And Yahweh came down in a cloud, and spake unto him, and took of the spirit that was upon him, and gave it unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease.
Right. These are the things that they are now able to do with the spirit that is now upon them. So what happens then? We see that this spirit gave them some abilities. Man, we used to watch people on Sunday morning, and they said they had the spirit. All they did was take off running and start dancing. They're able to prophesy. That means they're able to tell us events that are going to happen in the future. So when somebody caught the Holy Ghost, we were supposed to go over there. All right, show me what you can do.
Oh, I can do this.
Hell, I can do that. What else can you do?
Well, I can do it here.
I can do that too. It got to be something the Spirit gave you that you didn't have before. You said that you was the Spirit came upon you. So show me something that you can do now that you couldn't do before. Right. You pretending. Go ahead, bro.
But there remained 2 of the men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them, and they were of them that were written, but went not out unto the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man and told Moshe, and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. And Yahshua the son of Nun, the servant of Moshe, one of his young men, answered and said, My master Moshe, forbid them.
Because, hey, at this point, Moshe was the only one doing those things. And Yahshua actually shows his loyalty right here. And Moshe has to correct him in it. He's loyal. But Yahweh has moved on a different level. Your loyalty is going to cause a problem. Now you're trying to be loyal, but the Spirit is moved. You're trying to show loyalty to Moshe, and Moshe has, hey, come, don't do this. You're not paying attention. Now, Yahshua's a good man. We know Yahshua is going to be the next leader of the children of Israel. This is a good man. But even a good man got to be instructed. Go ahead.
And Moshe said unto him, Envieth you for my sake? What Elohim that all Yahweh's people were prophets, and that Yahweh would put his Spirit upon them. And Moshe gat him into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. And there went forth a wind from Yahweh, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, as it were a day's journey on this side, and as it were a day's journey on the other side, round about the camp, and as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. And the people stood up all that day, and all that night, and all the next day, and they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 omers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the wrath of Yahweh was kindled against the people, and Yahweh smote the people with a very great plague.
So they still chewing. And the plague has now come among them. This could very well be why we love chicken to this day. This could be why Popeyes is filled every time we leave here. That line be out on the street, Jack. Hey, when Yahweh put something on you, that thing stuck. And we all just call it something different. You say yardbird, pollo. Hey, this got us in some deep trouble. Go ahead.
And he called the name of that place Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried the people that lusted. And the people journeyed from Kibroth Hattaavah unto Hazeroth, and abode at Hazeroth.
Right. All because we want something before Yahweh our Elohim is ready to give that. It's not like the thing that we asked for is an evil thing. It's evil because the timing of Yahweh's purification is among us. Deuteronomy chapter 1, and let's start that at verse 1.
These be the words which Moshe spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, and Hazeroth, and Dizahab. There are 11 days' journey from Horeb by the way of Mount Seir unto Kadesh Barnea. And it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Moshe spake unto the children of Israel, according unto all that Yahweh had given him in commandment unto them.
He says there are 11 days' journey, and in the 40th year. See, we do things the way we want, but when we don't get the things that we want in our timetable. We don't blame us. We blame everybody else. Go ahead.
After he had slain Sihon the king of the Amorites, which dwelt in Heshbon, and Og the king of Bashan, which dwelt at Ashtaroth in Edrei. On this side Jordan in the land of Moab, began Moshe to declare this law, saying, Yahweh our El spake unto us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough in this mount. Turn you and take your journey, and go to the mount of the Amorites, and unto all the places near thereunto, in the plain, in the hills, and in the vale, and in the south, and by the seaside, to the land of the Canaanites, and unto Lebanon, unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers, Abraham, Esaac, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them. And I spake unto you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. Yahweh your El has multiplied you, and behold, you are this day as the stars of heaven for multitude. Yahweh El of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as you are, and bless you as he has promised you. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance, and your burden, and your strife? Take you wise men, and understanding, and known among your tribes, and I'll make them rulers over you. And you answered me, and said, The thing which you have spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes.
So then we see that there are levels. Captains of 10, if we got 10, 50, then the captain over 10 have to listen to the captain over 50. The captain over 100 instructs the captain over 50. The captain over 1,000 command several captains of hundreds. There's orders of that. And we have to be able to maintain that order. Otherwise, as the children of Israel are moved to the place that we're supposed to be in, we're going to end up having some problems. And you have a whole lot of people that just cannot follow because of all of the things that have happened with man. We can't follow any organized form of worship, because that would be following order. And they don't understand how Yahweh operates. He's a covenant Elohim. He operates in order. He operates with order. The man that accidentally touched the ark had to die. He didn't mean no harm. But the order is what it is. Go ahead.
And I charge your judges at that time, saying, Hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him. You shall not respect persons in judgment, but you shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is Elohim's, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it on to me, and I will hear it. And I commanded you at that time all the things which you should do. And when we departed from Horeb, we went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which you saw by the way of the mountain of the Amorites, as Yahweh our El commanded us, and we came to Kadesh Barnea. And I said unto you, You are come unto the mountain of the Amorites, which Yahweh our El does give unto us. Behold, Yahweh your El has set the land before you. Go up and possess it, as Yahweh El of your fathers has said unto you. Fear not, neither be discouraged. And you came there unto me, every one of you, and said, We will send men before us, and they shall search us out the land, and bring us word again by what way we must go up, and into what cities we shall come.
Yahweh knows what they're about to see. So he tells them to go up, fear not, neither be discouraged. He know what they about to see. Learn how to look with not your natural eyes. Go ahead.
And the saying pleased me well. And I took 12 men of you, one of a tribe. And they turned and went up into the mountain, and came on to the valley of Eshcol, and searched it out. And they took of the fruit of the land in their hands and brought it down unto us, and brought us word again, and said, It is a good land which Yahweh our El does give us. Notwithstanding, you would not go up, but rebelled against the commandment of Yahweh your El. And you murmured in your tents, and said, Because Yahweh hated us, he has brought us forth out of the land of Egypt to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us.
Now you see, now Yahweh is receiving accusation. See, it ain't enough for Jake to accuse Israel. Jake make accusations at Yahweh. Yahweh trying to kill us. He don't care nothing about us. Jake don't care who he make accusation to. All we got to do is get into an uncomfortable situation and out come the accusations. We lose something and accuse everybody of stealing it. Man, somebody done stole my such and such. You mean you don't know where it's at?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's not what you said. You just accused somebody of thievery. When in actuality, you forgot which one of them coats you put it in. It's in that black one. Because that's the coat you wore last week. So ain't nobody steal your stuff. You lost your stuff. Totally different. Go ahead.
Whither shall we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our heart, saying, The people is greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to heaven. And moreover, we have seen the son of the Anakims there.
We done seen giants. We ain't trying to go over there. Yahweh hate us. Ain't no way he want us. Ain't no God will send nobody to fight no people look like that. Okay? Ain't no way he can be a God and want us to fight a bunch of Shaquille O'Neals. You see that? Man, I seen one of them giants, man, dude had 6 toes. Like a size 28 sandal or something. We can't go over there. That land is evil. They always hate us. Go ahead.
Then I said unto you, Dread not, neither be afraid of them. Yahweh our El, which goes before you, he shall fight for you.
Now, do you have the faith to believe that he's going to do that? Because if you're looking with your physical eye, you're trying to figure this thing out, and it's a bunch of Goliaths over there. Yahweh already knew that Dawid was a man after his own heart. Dawid wasn't scared of Goliath. But he also fought with his brain and not with sheer muscle. Now, just because you're not afraid don't mean you're stupid. Dawid, you didn't see Dawid run over there and try to fight that giant, though, did you? He didn't go over there and try to go hand to hand. Come on, giant, let me show you something. No, he wasn't a fool. He was like, no, I'll take care of this uncircumcised Philistine. Give me that rock. Oh, I got this. So I know how to work this. You put the sword and all that down. Put that down. I ain't practiced with that. I don't know how to use that. See that sword and shield is too heavy for me to even use that. But see, this right here, I can hit Goliath from way over on this side of the brook. See, and then I cross over, and then I cut his head off. But I'm not just gonna run up on him, and I know he got a size 28 sandal. You understand? I know this. I seen the toes. Like one toe looked like my whole foot. I'm not just gonna run up on that. See? Because I got faith don't mean I lost my sense. Okay? Sometimes that's what people do. I got faith. No, what you have is called ignorance. Because what you are about to do, you are not thinking about how to attack that situation. See? Faith and your thought power have to go hand in hand. See, guerrilla warfare is the hardest warfare to fight. You don't just run up on no major army and go fight. Man, I watch these old Viking films from time to time. Y'all know I'm a notorious channel flipper. And they just go on an open field and just fight and just beat each other to death. There ain't nowhere to go. It's just an open field and they just slaughter one another. And I said, that make for good TV, but that's a horrible plan.
That is a horrible plan.
This plan does not allow anybody to live. Everybody gonna die in this plan. Then you start seeing things where strategy comes in and they start operating differently. Don't separate your faith from your intelligence. He didn't tell you to be stupid faithful. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 30. Yahweh your El, which goes before you, he shall fight for you, according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes. And in the wilderness, where you have seen how Yahweh your El bear you, as a man does bear his son, in all the way that you went, until you came into this place. Yet in this thing you did not believe Yahweh your El, who went in the way before you, to search you out the place to pitch your tents in fire by night, to show you by what way you should go, and in a cloud by day.
Right. How this is how it's exceedingly sinful. That you have seen the fire by day, a fire by night, the cloud by day. You've seen it. You've seen this. And you still don't believe that he could do this for you? Go ahead.
And Yahweh heard the voice of your words and was angry, and sware, saying, surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land.
Now, so that shows you Yahweh gets angry, just like we are made in his image. Yahweh got angry. People will tell you, especially when you hear the Sunday morning people talk about, Jesus. Hey, Jesus, you just love. All he do is love. You just love. He don't get mad. He don't ever get mad. He's never angry at all. He just love. That's all he does is just love 24/7. Yahweh got angry right away. All I've done for these people, all I've shown you. How is it that you cannot understand this? Go ahead.
Which I swear to give unto your fathers, save Caleb the son of Yephani, he shall see it, and to him will I give the land that he has trodden upon, and to his children, because he has wholly followed Yah.
He has wholly followed Yah. See, what we do is halfway follow Yahweh and say, I have done all that you have told me to do. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Go ahead.
Also Yahweh was angry with me for your sakes, saying, you also shall not go in thither. For Yahshua the son of Nun, which stands before you, he shall go in thither. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it.
Now, do we have that kind of faith? That you have done all this service. This is a part where Moshe could really get in his feelings. Now, I didn't ask you to come get me. All right? You came and got me. You gonna set a bush on fire that didn't burn. Okay? Okay, come on. Yeah, wait, let's run this down. All right, you came and got me. All right? I done already ran away from here. I was done. I got me, a little foreign woman. We got little kids, everything. Life's good. I'm good. I got priest daughter. I'm good. I got the best of the worst out here. I got it. I'm living. I'm straight. You came and got me. All right? You brought me in here to come get these people. You led me out here. You start telling me about all this good land, this covenant, all of these things. Now I misspoke one time, and you ain't gonna let me go in? All this work I done. I said one thing I shouldn't have said. And you not gonna let me go in? Moshe could have got right there in his feelings. Then, now, this is where you need to pause. Insert whatever little thing you done got off into your feelings about. He done worked for 40 years. And won't get to see the land. And accepted Yahweh's instruction about the thing. But Yahweh had something greater for him that he couldn't explain at that moment. See, and you don't figure it out once you're reading this part. You figure out later, he got plans for Moshe. Moshe didn't die like now another man. Moshe still had his strength, his eyesight. He told him go walk up a hill. Don't nobody know where Moshe went. He said Moshe died. That's what he said. Come on. Just come on. Look, man, I ain't got time. You know these people, they stupid, they be worshiping you. Just come. Just walk, man. I'll tell you when you get there. Just walk. Don't nobody know what happened to Moshe. But Moshe accepted what he thought was going to be his best that he could get. He accepted Yahweh's will for his life. But if there's anybody who should be in their feelings, after dealing with all the things that he dealt with for Israel, for him to say one thing, and Yahweh said, you ain't going? I ain't even gonna lie to you. There's been a rock littered with my tears. He'd had said, well, somebody go get this, look, go get him. Boy, I had to kill him. Tell him stop crying and just keep walking. I'm going to show him something when he get there. Go ahead, bro.
You know, when we hear that Moshe was the meekest man on the whole earth, that right there shows you how meek he was. To accept that, to do all that he did, and accept that.
You notice he ain't throw it up in Yahweh's face?
I did this for you. Yes, I did. Who did it? Me. That's who. Uh-huh. Yeah. Who helped these people walk through the water? Me. That's who.
He ain't do that. Let us get in the situation. Let us get in the situation. We on top of a rock challenging Yahweh. Who else down here we're going to be able to do what I did for you, Yahweh? Nobody. That's who. Oh, yeah. He didn't do none of that. After doing all of that, he accepted it without murmuring. When he misspoke, it was because of Israel constantly messing with him. He said, come here, you rebels. And let's be honest.
We done said a whole lot worse than that. Whole lot worse than that.
Whole lot. So if he can get cut off for saying rebels, man, we should just burst into spontaneous flames. Because we've said way worse than rebel. We make up the words that don't even go together. So, yeah, meek definitely characterized him. Go ahead, brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 39. Moreover, your little ones, which you said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it.
This is what Yahweh does to prove that people are pretending. You pretend like everything that you do is about the child, about the children. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that I'm going to use your little pretend game against you. I'm going to cut you off, but I'm going to let the child go in. That way, we go ahead and let it be known. This wasn't about the children. This was about you getting stuck in your own feelings. Go ahead.
But as for you, turn you, and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. Then you answered and said unto me, we have sinned against Yahweh. We will go up and fight.
Now we want to follow the instructions. But now because we have been disobedient, now the Spirit is not with us. Wait, you see the same thing amongst the children of Israel. You try to get somebody to do something, they won't do it. Cast them out, now they're doing all the stuff that you was asking them to do. Why couldn't you just do that when you was asked? Because then that means I would be accepting somebody's instruction. I can't do it when you want me to do it. I got to do it when I want to do it. Right. Go ahead.
According to all that Yahweh our El commanded us. And when you had girded on every man his weapons of war, you were ready to go up into the hill. And Yahweh said unto me, say unto them, go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you, lest you be smitten before your enemies. So I spake unto you, and you would not hear, but rebelled against the commandment of Yah, and went presumptuously up into the hill. And the Amorites, which dwelt in that mountain, came out against you, and chased you as bees do, and destroyed you in Seir, even unto Hormah.
Right, because the Spirit of Yahweh was not among them. They did not have the protection of the Spirit. Once they denied Yahweh, the Spirit of Yahweh was gone. Now, they are still physical Israel. They are still amongst the congregation. They are still there presently. But then they decide, oh, now he has spoken against us. Now we're going to do that thing that he asked. Yahweh not interested in you doing it now. The Spirit of Israel is not with you now because you didn't do it when you were asked to do it. How many times you tell a kid, take out the trash? Hey, the trash man come on Monday. The kid take out the trash on Tuesday. I ain't interested in you taking the trash out on Tuesday. Trash man came yesterday. You didn't follow my instructions. It don't matter that you do it now. Go ahead.
And you returned and wept before Yahweh, but Yahweh would not hearken unto your voice, nor give ear unto you. So you abode in Kadesh many days, according unto the days that you abode there.
All right, let's go to Psalm chapter 68. It says, seek you, Yahweh, your Elohim, while he may be found. But see, we're so tough that we can't be reached. See, we can't be reached at a time when Yahweh is seeking for us. Then, once there's a crap hit the fan moment, now we want to go look for Yahweh. When you had Yahweh near all that time. This is something that we're going to have to figure out. We have to be able to look and see that the world is changing right in front of us, man. All the stuff that we have been accustomed to, man, you need to be paying attention. This ain't the time to be a long ranger. Psalm 68, let's start at verse 1.
Let Elohim arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melts before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of Elohim. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before Elohim. Yes, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto Elohim. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rides upon the heavens by his name Yah, and rejoice before him.
Right. And the adversary didn't lead them to take this out. See, all other time when you see Lord and all capital Lord, they knew that said Yahweh. They took that out. There are certain things that just slip right by them. They didn't pick the part of Yah to take it out. Had a confused Jehovah Witness say, yeah, see, that's it said Jehovah. I said, man, you don't get out in front of me, man. For real, man. I said, so what you say? Well, hallelujah. You hallelujah? See, it don't even make no sense, and they don't even believe that lie. I was looking at them when they said it. I was like, you don't even believe it before you even said it. Go ahead.
A father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is Elohim in his holy habitation. Elohim sets the solitary in families.
He sets the order in families. He sets the way that things are made up. All right? That there's a man that's supposed to be the head of the house, and everything goes according to that. But what people are going to do is rearrange that order. But Yahweh has set the solitary in families and set the way that it's supposed to go. Go ahead.
He bringeth out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land. O Elohim, when you went forth before your people, when you did march through the wilderness, the earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of Elohim. Even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of Elohim, the El of Israel. You, O Elohim, did send a plentiful rain, whereby you did confirm your inheritance when it was weary. Your congregation has dwelt therein. You, O Elohim, has prepared of your goodness for the poor. The Adonai gave the word, great was the company of those that published it. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divided the spoil. Though you have lain among the pots, yet shall you be as the wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. The hill of Elohim is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap you, you high hills? This is the hill which Elohim desires to dwell in. Yes, Yahweh will dwell in it forever. The chariots of Elohim are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Adonai is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. You have ascended on high. You have led captivity captive. You have received gifts from men. Yes, for the rebellious also, that Yahweh Elohim might dwell among them. Blessed be the Adonai, who daily loads us with benefits, even the El of our salvation. He that is our Elohim is the El of salvation, and unto Yahweh Elohim belong the issues from death.
Right. So whenever we're dealing with something, the most important part about that is checking to see if it's a salvation issue. See, a lot of times we want to deal with this, we want to deal with that. Our Elohim is the Elohim of salvation. So when you bring something to me, is it a knowledge issue or is it a salvation issue? Because if it's not going to affect my salvation, I have a tendency to not want to attribute a lot of time, energy, or brain power to that. Go ahead.
But Elohim shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such an one as goeth on still in his trespass.
Right. No matter what you tell them, no matter what you try to show them, no matter what understanding you try to impart unto them, they're going to go right ahead and do what they're going to do. Go ahead.
The Adonai said, I'll bring again from Bashan. I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea, that your foot may be dipped in the blood of your enemies, and the tongue of your dogs in the same. They have seen your goings, O Elohim, even the goings of my El, my king, in the sanctuary. The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after. Among them were the damsels playing with timbrels. Bless you, Elohim, in the congregations, even the Adonai, from the fountain of Israel. There is little Benjamin with their ruler, the princes of Yehuda and their council, the princes of Zebulun and the princes of Naphtali. Your Elohim has commanded your strength. Strengthen, O Elohim, that which you have wrought for us.
Your Elohim has commanded your strength. Pay attention. Your Elohim has commanded your strength. Strengthen, O Elohim, that which you has wrought for us. There's certain things that Yahweh has given unto us as far as these instructions, and we have to stand on the power of Elohim to be able to do those things. Because if we don't, then we're not going to do the things that we have been set here in the earth to do, and it's going to be a problem. Go ahead.
Because of your temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto you. Rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls, with the calves of the people, till every one submit himself with pieces of silver. Scatter you the people that delight in war. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto Elohim. Sing, O Elohim, you kingdoms of the earth. O sing praises unto the Adonai. To him that rides upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, he does send out his voice, and that a mighty voice. Ascribe you strength unto Elohim. His excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. O Elohim, you are terrible out of your holy places. The El of Israel is he that gives strength and power unto his people. Blessed be Elohim.
Blessed be Elohim. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 1 through 20.
The vision of Esaias, the son of Amoz, which he saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Yehuda. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. We have to consider how we do the same thing. We came out of the world not knowing anything, come into the truth, and then after being in the truth, see what we do. After it's no longer new. Then we rebel. Can't do this. Can't do that. I don't want to do this. Don't want to do that. Go ahead.
The ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel does not know. My people does not consider. A sinful nation, a people laden with lawlessness, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yahweh. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They're gone away backward. Why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint.
Why should you be stricken anymore? The whole part of striking you was to get you to pay attention and walk away from the manner that you are operating in. But you have shown that no matter what it is I do unto you, you're going to still operate the same way. So just step back and let you walk in it. As my elder used to say, they have hook in their jaws, leading them to err. And they can't stop it if they wanted to, because they have let it go on so long that he won't let them come out of it, because they decided they wasn't going to come out of it, and after a while, he just left them there. Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, verse 3, but Israel does not know, my people does not consider. Not knowing is different. Information, taken from us. But now if we have the information, you won't even consider it?
Won't consider. So, yeah, you're right. That's two different levels. Israel does not know. My people do not consider. We don't want to. We want to grab hold to the things of the nations that are round about us, rather than us having to deal with this, especially in this land. Understanding that we are Israel then puts a weight upon us that we're not ready to bear as a whole. We rather just be the sons and daughters of ex-slaves and let that be it. When you understand that you are Israel, you understand that you have a responsibility, and you understand that, wait, there were a lot of wrongs that we have committed. We would rather just ask the question, why were we allowed to be slaves? Why did that have to happen to us? We would rather just have that unanswered, because we don't want to know the answer. See, we don't want to know the answer. That's why there's certain things we don't want to consider, because considering it means we're going to have to make some changes. So we rather not consider. See? Go ahead.
Verse 6, from the sole of the foot even unto the head there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate, your cities are burnt with fire, your land strangers devoured in your presence, and it is desolate, as overthrown by strangers.
Your city, strangers devour your land in your presence. We're talking about judgment has been slowly coming upon Israel for a very long time. This is why I said, why should you even be stricken anymore? You don't listen. You don't even understand what the purpose of the lashing is about. Go ahead.
And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except Yahweh of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Hear the word of Yahweh, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our El, you people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, says Yahweh? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat. Verse 11, to what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, says Yahweh? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks, or of lambs, or of he-goats. When you come to appear before me, who has required this at your hand, to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Shabbats, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is lawlessness, even the solemn meeting.
Right. Because you have dealt with things out of order, even your prayers have become abomination. The incense are what carry the prayers of the saints up. Because of the dealings, now the incense that carry your prayers is abomination. The incense is just a vessel that your prayer is supposed to ride upon. Go ahead.
Your new moons and your appointed feasts my soul hates. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them.
He said, I cannot away with the solemn meeting, but because of how it's dealt with, I am weary to bear them. It's supposed to be a holy situation. Go ahead.
And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yes, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood.
Right. And then, see, this is what we have to understand about the power of family. This is why you want spiritual family in your midst. You may get off into something that separates you from your Elohim, and your prayer won't be heard at all. But then your brother pray for you, and Yahweh hear your brother. But he won't hear you because of the things that you have done. This is why a family is necessary, a spiritual family. You may get to that point where he can't hear you. And there are things that we do that causes a separation. As much as Yahweh loved David, he said, you can't build me a house. Why? Because you shed a lot of blood in building the kingdom of Israel and uniting my land. I respect and love your desire to build me a house. But because you have killed so many people, you are not able to build me a house. But I'm going to build you a house. Because I like the fact that you wanted to build me a house. But physically you cannot. So the things that he had done limited him to what he could do. But because his desire was strong, Yahweh was dealing with him in the next generation just because he wanted to do something right. Go ahead, bro.
Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Come now, and let us reason together, says Yahweh.
Now, if we're going to reason together, we're going to reason together out of this book. We're not going to just play a feeling game to try to see if I can feel more than you feel, or if your feelings is more feelery than mine. What make your feelings any more special or mine any more special than yours? Feelings is feelings. But we're going to get feelery. I'm going to feel more than you feel. How's that? We're going to reason together. We're going to reason together out of what's written down. We're going to reason together out of the order. We can't reason together just based on feelings. You ain't never going to outfeel somebody. That's their feeling. You ain't never going to outfeel them. They feel the way they feel. That's inside of them. You're not going to trump that because you can't enter inside their body and feel for them. So if we're going to reason, there has to be a general base point from what we are going to reason together out of. That's his law. Go ahead.
Though your sins be as scarlet, they will be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of Yahweh hath spoken it.
All right, let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Titus chapter 2. Titus chapter 2, and let's start that at verse 1.
Verse 1. Speak you the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in love, in patience.
Now, because of this person being aged, being serving, doing some things, there is an expected level that this aged individual is expected to be at. So this is where the young men have to learn that knowledge is one thing. Wisdom is something altogether different. See, knowledge you get out of a book. Wisdom you get out of situations. And you ain't lived long enough to have certain situations. Go ahead.
The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things.
Right. The aged women, likewise, that they be in behavior as become holiness, not false accusers. See, a false accuser can be a false accuser on many levels. Is it a false accuser because the thing that was said was false? Or is it a situation that was a manufactured situation? That means it was false. Go ahead.
That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Elohim be not blasphemed.
Right. The word of Elohim becomes blasphemed when we don't operate in the order of the things that's written. So then other people say, yeah, them people say they're Hebrew, but you know, they fight every night. Said, just wait here, you're going to hear them throw some plates at each other in a minute. Say, yeah, but they Hebrew. Watch this. Watch this. Your neighbor just sit there and wait. There they go. There they go. It must be 9:30. Go ahead.
Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded, in all things showing yourself a pattern of good works, in doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. Exhort servants to be obedient unto their own masters, and to please them well in all things, not answering again.
And we'll do it in a minute. We will understand that something might be requested of us, and then we answer with some little slick remark. The same way Cain answered, "Am I my brother's keeper?" See, we do it and don't even think nothing is wrong with it. Go ahead.
Not prolonging, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adorn the doctrine of Elohim our Savior in all things. For the grace of Elohim that brings salvation has appeared to all men, teaching us that, denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world, looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great Elohim and our Savior Yahshua HaMashiach, who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from all lawlessness and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no man despise you.
These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority, because you got it. And it is your job. If you're going to maintain order, you have to rebuke, and you can't be tiptoeing around the authority. Rebuke with all authority, and let no man despise you. In other words, give it no thought, because you can't stop no man from despising you. But you can stop how you react to it. You can stop how you let it deal with you. You can't stop somebody from feeling how they want to feel. But when you cast that aside, it is as nothing. And you keep on going about the job that you have been charged with. These things we're going to have to consider deeply because as the children of Israel go through more and more situations, we're going to encounter a lot more situations of things that we have not encountered before. So we have to begin to get ourselves spiritually ready for the things that are going to come upon us. For the adversary, the devil, is definitely coming for us. And as always, he uses the kings of the nations to implement those things. So let us consider those things, Israel, for the redemption of the children of Israel is nearer than we could possibly think. That's all that we're going to do for today. What time we're going to do? What time is it? 3:30. We're going to do 5:30 is what time we're going to do Bible trivia. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath, keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.